There it is, 100 miles.
It's been a great week. We're now recording. It beeped this time. Oh, we get sound effects.
Oh, we have
No
sound effects.
swearing. Andy,
Oh,
no.
I didn't hear any sound effects.
So, okay, I did. I thought you were editing these conversations, so I just kind of rambled on.
So the first one I really didn't edit much because I didn't think there was a lot to edit. I haven't watched the second one yet, so maybe I'll edit more because that one was about 30 minutes. So I'll probably try to cut it down to be like 20 to 25 or even maybe less, just to keep it somewhat interesting. Well, Rob,
Tell me, Andy.
first time talking together since we both finished 100 miles in a week.
Right.
That's awesome. And I'm celebrating with a beer, a nice Wisconsin beer. This is called Spotted Cow. It's from a little kind of craft brewery called New Glarus. Actually growing quite popular now, so it's getting bigger, but it's still quality stuff.
Nice. So it was funny, throughout the last week and a half or so, we've been exchanging messages, and I've been showing you the great selection of Korean craft beer that's available. And to prepare for today's meeting, I knew we were going to have this. I drank all of the craft beer in my fridge last night.
So what do you?
The only thing I have left is an Irish beer, a Hop House Lager, which is absolutely. If you haven't had this yet, man, this is my new go-to. It's not a lager. Well, I guess it's probably technically a lager, but it doesn't taste like any lager I've ever had. It's really hoppy.
Yeah.
So it's like an easy drinking light IPA. So it's full flavor.
Nice.
Yeah, full flavor, but it's not heavy at all. It doesn't. I had a couple Goose Island last night, and I forgot how heavy those are. There's another Tegungil, which is like on the way home after work. It's a Korean expression, and that's the name of the beer. It's a great beer, but their IPAs are a little bit heavy. This is great.
This beer, I believe it's categorized. It's called something like a farmhouse ale.
Okay.
But yeah, it's got a pretty good body to it too, and a little bit of fruit flavor to it. So like just a little fruity, but it's quite nice. So it's like a great summer beer when you're sitting outside, on a nice warm day.
Right. Well, it's 9:30 in the. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
It's 9:30 in the morning here.
Perfect time to have a beer, Rob.
Yeah, I have a full day of work that just got a little more interesting. So.
I wouldn't want it any other way for you.
Man, this brings back a lot of university memories. I don't. Anyway, no.
So, how you doing? How are the legs feeling?
Yeah, great. How about you?
Yeah, better than I expected going into the week. I thought by the time I finished up that week, I was going to have kind of dead legs and, wasn't going to want to run. And really, I woke up Monday and it was a really nice morning and I was like, I feel good. I want to run. But took 2 days off now just to make sure. We kind of chatted about this over the phone and, just to make sure any little niggles or stresses that you don't really feel right now, just have a time to settle down. So just don't push it too much, especially since you and I, it was a pretty big volume jump for us. We weren't sitting at high 70s, low 80s in training. And then, that's the bump. We were both, you were right around 100K. I was just a little bit over. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was, but you were really consistent throughout the week with your like most of your days were almost right on, 100 divided by 7, right?
Yeah, they were pretty even. I had 2 days that were just kind of low. So Thursday, which was my initial planned easy day, which turned out to be kind of my hardest day physically and mentally, because that was when I was the most worn down. And then Sunday, the last day, I only needed around 9 miles, so a little under 15K.
Mm-hmm.
to get to the mark. So that was a shorter day just because of it. And then similar with you too, because I think you needed like 13 or 14K your last day to do it as well. So, right?
Yeah. I definitely front loaded it, and was happy I did that. And same as you, I had one day that was sort of like, if you were to look at it on a graph, most of it looked pretty, like, you know, it was obviously most in the front. But then the rest of it sort of, it was a bit of a dip, but then one day was a significant dip. And that would have been the equivalent of Thursday, I guess, 4 days in.
Okay.
5 days in, right? So,
yeah,
it's remarkable because we both kind of said that the other day when we were texting. It was like, we both finished feeling significantly better than we anticipated we would feel. But yeah, I don't know. There was something about it. I don't know if we ran ourselves into shape. Like, you know, because we were going slow enough, we weren't doing a lot of cumulative damage, and I think we had enough time to recover. Yeah, I certainly didn't feel like I needed time off when I was done either. But I forced myself to do it. Just, I'm not getting ready for a race or anything else. There's no reason not to do it. But
yeah, same with me. You know, there's no races ahead. There's no need to try to continue that training right now. So it's just, I'd rather take a couple of days off and be healthy so I can continue to run through the summer than continue to just have those huge high mileage weeks right now. And then maybe, you know, 2 or 3 weeks down the road, I'm just either burnt out or I've run myself into injury. So gonna dial back the volume a little bit, but I think what I really got out of this week is it's encouraging for me to know that I can handle higher volume stuff.
Yeah.
So I was a little worried going into it that some like stress pains might start coming about, you know, shins or knees or just something from all that mileage and all that time on the road. And I really didn't experience any of that. My legs felt great all week, except for, you know, I had the tight hamstring issues, which stemmed from, you know, a foolishly aggressive speed workout that I did a couple days before we started the challenge. So if I hadn't done that, I think my legs would have been, you know, really fine throughout, and I wouldn't have had even any serious fatigue. Right. So.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, really, right? I feel exactly the same way. Like I didn't. It's been so long since I've done high mileage or anything. I mean, I'm like I had said earlier, I'm kind of coming back from an injury, and obviously I'm getting older every year, and you know the cumulative effects kind of start adding up, and I sort of mentally prepared myself to. You know, I'm not that old. I'm 43, but you know, at some point you start thinking, okay, maybe this is going to be the last year, or maybe I'm running on finite time, or maybe, I don't know. And maybe I just have to start readjusting my goals. But I found that last week was so encouraging for any future goals. Like as long as I listen to myself and don't let my ambitions start writing my weekly, my weekly mileage goals, and just kind of listen to myself and say, okay, you know, you can do this, but you just got to slow down a little bit, or you know, put a little bit more into recovery, be a little bit more intelligent about the diet. And like I said, you know, I really wanted to stick with keto, but that obviously wasn't working. I'm not saying it wouldn't work for anybody else, just for me. So
you just needed that kind of those extra carbs to get you going.
Sure. Or I felt better because of them. I just don't need. I'm not getting paid to do this, not yet.
Yeah.
But once again, I would like to mention Hop House Lager.
And while you do that, I'm trying to like make you like big on my screen. I don't want to look at my face, but I can't figure out how to do it on Zoom. I'm an idiot.
You don't want to look like this. Or look at this. Come on.
Well, I don't want to. I'm not here to stare at myself. I'm here to talk to you.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it has me as the large image and you small, but it won't let me flip-flop it. There we go. I got it. Just got it.
Okay. All right.
Had to hit it in the right spot. Okay, I feel better now. Now I'm not looking at myself. I'm looking at you. So this is like that first 10 minutes was weird for me, just looking at myself.
Welcome to my life, buddy.
Yeah, and I would also like to promo spotted cow. So New Glarus, nice little Wisconsin brewery as well. So
Good.
good. I hope they pay me some royalties.
That's all we're going for here. And frankly, if they gave me 2 free beer, it'd be more than I got now. So.
Okay, so you're back running. So
Yeah.
a couple days ahead of me. This is my second day since finishing the challenge. How have you felt since you started running again?
Great. So again, back to the slowing down thing. I took it, I guess, a few steps further as I tend to do. I'm going I'm going to do some math training. So I'm going to spend the next 3 months, I think, running 140 minus my age, minus 5 more. Because I was
isn't it 180 minus your age? Isn't that
what did I say?
You said 140 minus your age?
It's not that. It's not that. Yeah.
Because I'd be sitting on the couch.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. It's not that. Thank you. Yeah. So 180 minus my age, minus 5. Anyway, so just keep my heart rate at that. So I've done 5 runs now at that pace, which is even slower than my slow pace. And it's so funny. I've been running by this older guy in the morning, and he's all donned up, right? He's got matching singlet and running shorts. Like, this guy takes even his morning runs are very serious.
He's got the whole getup.
Yeah, and I passed him
when he decided to become a runner. He said, "I need everything related to running.
Right.
Matching clothes, all the shoes, all the bottles, all the hydration.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
The best watch. I need it all."
So I see him in the morning, and he's running, and he's looking good. I mean, he's an older guy, but he's definitely a runner, no doubt about it. Anyway, I don't think he includes me in his group of runners anymore, because I'm kind of plodding along at my 6-minute kilometers, and I'm like, "Good morning," and the guy's like, Anyway. So it's been odd, man, because I feel like maybe people in the running community are like, "Nah, he's not really a runner," and I'm like, "I'm kind of a runner." But anyway. So it's going really slow. I mean, painfully slow. But I don't need to walk. I can keep my heart rate still running, which is good. But anyway, so I'm going to do that for months.
I found that too. And you have the strap. So I have the optical heart rate in the wrist on my watch, and everything I've read says, it's not as accurate as the chest strap. And you're more prone to these spikes.
Yeah.
And then, so when I was doing heart rate stuff, I just ignored the spike because I figured it was just the watch getting a bad reading. So I'd be running, my heart rate would be like right around 140, and then all of a sudden it'd shoot up to 152, 155. I'm like, I haven't changed anything.
Right.
I dialed it back just a hair, and then within a minute it was right back down to what I was doing. So I always attributed some of those spikes to just a poor read. And I think with the heart rate training, you learn pretty quickly what that pace feels like. Yeah. And then some days you have surprising adjustments because you're dehydrated, you're fatigued, it's really hot and humid, so it just elevates your heart rate, so you do have to slow down a little bit more. But I think you'll find in general your pace is you'll find that little range that you sit in pace wise, for those months before you really feel the effects where you start getting faster at the same heart rate. So
right. So and so I'm already kind of feeling in that pace, like it's almost like biomechanics. I said this, my buddy recommended it because he says it's not so much a heart rate thing as a biomechanics thing. And it's funny because I can feel, I've had this hip injury that's taken me out of running twice, both for like extended, like multi-months, 6 or 7 months. I haven't been able to run while I've kind of been fixing my psoas muscle. Yeah. And I think it's because I've got kind of a pelvic tilt, which is really common in running. And the only way I can fix it is by going slower. And I notice when I go slow, it almost fixes itself. So it's, that alone makes it make sense to me. It's just retraining sort of how my gait and my running. And so I'm just going to commit to it because it's too hot to run anyway. I was thinking about this today. In July and August, I usually go, okay, I'm going to run through the heat. And I usually do about 4 runs. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I just get on my bike. So this year, if I can get more than 4 runs, I've already won. So that's my goal, is just to stay at this kind of low heart rate and do more than 4 runs. So, but coming back to it, man, like it's been a great kind of spin off of the 100-mile week, because I'm going slow, but I'm able to keep my volume way up. So I'm still doing about between 15 and 20K a day, I think, somewhere around there. My last 5 runs have been like 15, 20. But I have so much more energy throughout the day. I'm not tired. I'm not stressed about my runs because they're so easy. I just wake up and go, like there's nothing to think about.
Good.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm going to go from here.
Quit. Just give up.
Done it all.
That's it.
May as well become a cyclist now.
A lot of spandex.
No, so I do think with the 100-mile week, one thing I learned is not only that I can do it, but that I don't want to do it. So I just found it was more time consuming than I want my running to be. That's one of my big takeaways, is I just felt that my mindset and my day was revolving around running. It was wake up and run, and then get ready and go to work, and then go for another run, and then come home. And if I had more time in the morning, I could run longer in the morning, but it would still take all that morning. And so I kind of found that I think the whole, so I wrote it down. I wrote down a couple of things just because I would have forgot. My total time running was 14 hours and about 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is roughly double what I'm used to.
Right.
Time-wise. And I kind of thought, I'm like, I wouldn't mind just sticking to maybe that 7 to 10 hours a week. And I think that'd be a really good amount of running time, running volume.
Right.
And then just getting those couple hours back. I mean, that's an hour a day, 4 days a week that I could be doing something else, like drinking beer.
Right. So. But plus recovery, plus everything else that goes into it too, right? It's
exactly,
not just,
yeah. So, that was one of my big takeaways. Not only that, learning that I found I could handle that volume, and for the most part, I think I handled it pretty well. Yep. But that it's not just something that I want to do consistently. So,
yeah.
I don't know. What about you? Is okay, now that you've done 100 miles, have you thought, well, maybe I'll try to incorporate some high volume training?
Yeah, that's what, I kind of came away thinking the same thing, but not as deterred by it, I guess. I certainly recognize how much time it took, but I don't know. I don't like to sit around very much. I'm not very good at that. So I kind of, the worst thing for me is to not be busy. So I'm kind of the opposite. I was like, okay, well, it was good because it was so not intense, right? And
right.
I think I said this to you. I don't know if this was in our recording or not, but I didn't realize how stressful running, just getting out the door, had become in my running. Like, I don't know why. Like, I think it was coming back from injury and being slow and trying to get back to my time. And then the heat came a bit, and I don't know what it was, but this alleviated all of the stress. And it was just like, just get out and run. And I got back to why I like running in the mountains, for example, because you just don't think about times, or I don't anyway. I just get out and I run, and I'm just kind of in the moment, and that's it. So it's really the idea of just getting back to running that way. And I found that. And
there's a lot of truth to that, running in the mountains. I think I could run 14-hour weeks if I was on the trails and in the mountains that whole time.
Right.
The most fun running I had that during the week was on Saturday when I did my 21K trail run.
Yeah.
It was just enjoyable. Every moment was enjoyable. I just love being on the trails. I love the different terrain. I love going up and down and just being around nature and hearing the birds. And I saw a couple turkeys and got down by the lake, and you can just hear the waves lapping up on the shore. That was really really nice, really enjoyable. So I think if I had more trails around me, might be a little different story.
Yeah.
But I do think that kind of 14 to 15 hours is a little bit more per week than I want to be
That's a
spending
lot.
running. Yeah.
That's a lot. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I walked away with that too. But I also walked away thinking I could have done this better. So I think I could have.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to hear about this. What could you have done better?
So I think had I built up to it more, I would have been able to get more out of this week instead of just high mileage. And
Okay.
I think because I was, like you said, it was such a huge jump. We were both really sort of reluctant to commit to like speed work or a tempo run, like a big day in the mountains or something like that, because it might throw us off for the next day. We're both, but I think looking back on it, I think we both now realize we probably, maybe not a speed work day, but maybe, I don't know. But I'd like to,
I think we could have, I really think we could have thrown in a speed work day, and then, you know, the day following, you just dial it back a little bit more than what we had been doing. And we would have been fine.
yeah. If we were used to speed work days, because you said like even classic work. Right. Because, you know, because neither of us have been doing a lot of, we're not getting ready for races or anything.
Let's rephrase. First, let's get used to speed, and then we can incorporate doing speed into that high volume training. Yeah. All right. And yeah, and you know, for you, I know you like throwing in those long mountain run days too, where you are up in the mountains for 3, 4, 5 hours too, which is something you didn't do during the 100-mile week. But I'm assuming you feel that if you did it again, that's something you could add.
But it's still so. Then I'm doing like an 18, 19 hour week.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean that's like you saw in the video. I mean, it's amazing because I was doing all the runs I thought I was before Liam was up, and even still he was like, you know, I don't see Dad at all because he's running. He's prone to exaggeration a little bit and hyperbole, but you know, but still, there's no doubt that's my biggest, you know, time commitment at this point is that, and you know, I do have a job and things like that. So reality, but I think I can squeeze in 15 or 16 hours a week of running if it's once or twice a year, you know. But
sure. Okay. So I feel the same way. I can, you know, I can find a week or two, you know, say I'm getting ready for a spring marathon or something, and I do want to really try to ramp up that volume. I do think I could find that week or two to do it. It's just not something that I feel I'd want to do somewhat consistently.
Do you think he could have done more?
More miles?
Yeah.
You mean like 110 or something?
Yeah. Like both of us had an easy last day. If somebody had said you on the last day, you have to do 5 more.
I easily could have thrown in another 3 to 5 miles that last day. I felt that good on Sunday. I needed 9. I ran 10. I finished 10. I felt great. I could have kept going for sure. So yeah, I definitely could have added a few more.
Yeah. Surprising, right?
Surprising.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I felt the same way. So I was same thing.
But there's also a difference between doing it once and doing it consistently week in and week out.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing it this week. You know, maybe 6 months from now I'll do it again, or 3 months from now, but 4 or 5. Yeah, but mad respect for people that do this week in and week out, because then you would get some cumulative sort of build up, no doubt. I don't care how slow you're running. That's just the mental. I got to do this again. Like I like running, but man, I don't like running that much.
Yeah, and I definitely want to do it again, because I'm really curious to see if I hit that 4th day, if it's similar, you know, feeling, or if because I've done it now, if I just kind of have a better idea what to expect, that
absolutely
I don't hit that little bit of that mental low, and that kind of a physical low for me too.
Yeah, no, I think I felt it physically. You know, but that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's odd though, right? Like, 'cause in ultras, I still sort of have to face that demon at some point in every ultra I've done.
Right.
Not so much in the marathon, but in the ultra, like it has never gone away. It's just maybe I face it a little bit more confidently. I don't know, but there's still that moment. It's still like day 4. It's still like,
Yeah.
all right,
Well,
see you with me. Yeah.
and the thing with the ultras, we both done a few. So the first time you do the ultra and you have to defeat the demons that pop up,
Yeah.
you know, at whatever point in the race. The next time it happens, you recognize it. And so I think that's one reason why you can deal with it better. You're kind of like, aha, I've been here before.
Right.
And I've gotten through it. So that in itself just helps you know, okay, I can battle through this. Just, you know, do whatever you need to do in the ultra. Slow down, take in some nutrition, you know, whatever it might be. There is a way to like get through that low point in an ultra.
I sit under a tree and I cry, but whatever.
Hey, everybody's got their own way to get through it. And if you have to stand under a tree and cry, then
Sure.
then I just hope that your low point comes when you're in a wooded area.
Why? Yeah.
Well, you don't want it to come when you're out in the wide open prairies and there's no trees to hide under.
Well, it just doesn't come then. That's the
Okay. It's only when you're under the tree.
Maybe it's the trees. I never thought about that.
Could be the trees.
Gotta be the trees. Anyway.
Nice. All right, Rob. So
Okay.
I wrote down a couple of things. So I think we both hit milestones, like not just the fact that we did 100 miles in a week as a milestone. So a couple other things we hit.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you hit them. You'll have to confirm. So a couple other things that I hit. So most miles in a week for me, 101 miles.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most number of runs I've ever had in a week, which was 11.
Yeah, me well.
Okay.
Well.
Yep. It's the most miles I've ever run in a month.
I'm probably there too. I'll give you a thumbs up. Yeah.
Yep. So this is the most miles I've ever run carrying a camera the whole time. So this was kind of my setup. I had the GoPro. I didn't carry this little tripod every day. Some days I did. Some days I just had the GoPro. But then some days I was like, well, I'll carry the tripod in case I want to do like a couple more stable shots. But 101 miles carrying this stupid little camera.
I'll give you a clap for that, Andy. That's ridiculous. Well, seriously, man, that's amazing. But yeah, definitely the most runs I've run with my phone. I usually don't run with a phone, but I ran with a phone because you wanted me to make those videos.
And they're great. They're going to add so much wonderful content to it. So,
and it probably helps you with your editing skills. So that's good too.
Oh, I'm not editing anything.
Oh, okay, so let's. My name is not Rob Kerr. My name is. Okay.
Okay, so in the week, you have to refresh for me, Rob. What was the longest run you did during the week?
Oh God. Maybe 24. I did 2 24-kilometer runs. 26. I had a 26-kilometer run.
Okay, 26K. Okay, and what was the shortest that you did?
Like 10.
10K.
Yeah, that was on a double. So what? 6 miles, 6 and a bit.
Yeah, a little over 6 1/4. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
I don't. And interestingly, I don't think I would have gone on any longer runs.
Okay,
I think,
that was going to be my next question. Is
maybe
would you?
At the end, but like, there was something sweet. There was like a sweet spot in 24, 25K where I could finish it and feel okay and recover. You know, like I said, you know, the 26K I actually ran again that night. And most nights I felt that way, that I could have gone again. But after doing 30K, for whatever reason, there's something around a 30K run where I'm like, and maybe that's something I need to face. Maybe it was like one of those other things that you build up this mental sort of, I just won't do it. That's a no-go zone. But maybe it's not. But
and maybe that's the next hurdle to jump when you do a 100-mile week again is can you throw in that longer 30 to 34K run in the
Right.
week and see how you do.
Yeah. So how about you? What was your longest and your shortest?
So it kind of surprised me. I didn't really think about it until I was near the end. My longest run was only 13 miles, so 21K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then my
Very,
shortest run was 5 miles. That was one time. So all of my runs were at least 1 hour, except my 1 5 mile run. That was the only
right.
one that was an hour. Everything else was an hour or more. So yeah, all my runs were relatively similar in length for the most part. I did a lot of doubles though, so that's why I
Yeah.
didn't have the bigger days.
How did you feel
Which was,
doubles versus singles? Looking back on it now.
so I did doubles 4 days, and I wouldn't do it again.
Okay.
I do think doubles are a real benefit to getting to that volume.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do any more than 3.
Okay.
And I definitely wouldn't do it the way I did it. I did doubles Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I think that's one of the reasons Thursday was a rougher day for me, is because all those doubles, back to back to back.
Right.
So I think if I had done something like a double Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then longer, slower stuff in between, I think that would probably be a bit of a better approach.
Right.
I definitely keep doing doubles. I think there are benefits to doing doubles in high volume weeks like that, but I wouldn't do as many as I did. So.
Mm-hmm. Would you? How do you feel about doing like one long run at the end, like a 50K, or because didn't we talk about that at some point, like that being a possibility, or?
So I don't know if we really talked about doing like a 50K at the end. I mean, once again, I think it just have to be a little bit of a different mindset going into it. Like, if your last day was 50K, the day before would probably be really short. It'd probably be like 10K.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be, just a very short day just to make sure your legs are fresh
Right.
enough to go into
Or
that
like
50K.
one on the final day, like do a 50K on the final day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Do it.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, this is the problem. Like, even so, you take away a double, and that just means you have to do over a half marathon that day.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
I mean,
it makes sense if you want to do high volume training and you're getting ready for an ultra. Like if you want to do your 100 miler sometime, maybe that's a better approach, is to, do all these 20 to 25K runs, and then bam, you finish it with a 50K. So you're on tired legs during that 50K to more mimic that later stage in a 100-mile race.
right. Yeah. No.
I don't know. I've never looked at training plans for, that length of an ultra, so I have no idea how they're really structured. If
Right.
how people really train on. I know back-to-back long runs is a common thing,
Right.
but I don't know if the idea of you try to build up systemic fatigue throughout the week and then really go for a long day just to get used to that grind. I don't know if that's sort of.
I know one of the things they recommend for 100-mile training is to get 100 miles in, I think, over 3 days or over 4 days. So it's
okay.
Like two long runs, a day off, and then a final long run, or to do it on hours or something. So they try to do that. They try to really beat you into the ground over that week. Or I've seen that. I've definitely heard that. I mean, it's like bro gym science. I don't know if there's any actual physical science backing it up, but anecdotally, it seems that a lot of people used to do it, or they do it. But that kind of brings up. Okay, maybe not yet. Okay, let's wait till the end.
Oh, okay. Oh, what were you going to ask about, like future goals or something?
Anyway,
I mean, we could probably. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about the 100-mile week? Oh, wait. I got something off the top of my head here. Food during the week. What were you eating? Did you feel you were consuming a lot more than normal, or kind of how did everything go? Food-wise?
No, I felt like I was eating almost the exact same thing, And as
Okay.
soon as I put carbs back in, which didn't account for more calories or anything, I didn't lose any weight, which I kind of thought I would.
Yeah.
Or nothing significant anyway. No, I ate literally, I think exactly the same thing I would have eaten the week before,
Okay.
including drinking. Like, not that I drink a lot, but I have 2 drinks a day, probably at
Yeah.
night. And then one night on a Saturday, I went out and actually drank a lot more than 2, and which I normally do on Saturday. Like, it was
Yeah.
almost I thought I would have this big physiological change, like nothing, man. Like,
Nothing.
didn't lose that much weight, wasn't extra hungry, nothing
Okay.
changed. Yeah, how about you?
I got a little extra hungry a couple days.
Okay,
So I did notice that I was eating a little bit more.
yeah,
Um, didn't drink it all during the week except Saturday. Went out with a couple friends. Saturday
yeah,
night had a couple drinks, and then Sunday I kind of knew. It was interesting. You finished Saturday, and I knew Sunday was going to happen. I wasn't at all worried, like, oh
right,
no, am I going to be able to get in my miles?
right,
So I kind of knew, and so a buddy messaged me and said, "Hey, you want to have a campfire and a couple of beers?" And I said, "Yeah,
oh yeah,
of course."
yeah,
So, but I do think I was eating more, but I don't really keep track of that stuff.
yeah, yeah, same,
When
yeah,
I'm hungry, I eat, and
right,
if I'm not full when I'm done, I eat a little bit more.
right, yeah,
So, and I try to eat mostly healthy, mostly whole foods, vegetables, lean meats, fruits, stuff like that. I do have a couple vices, like I like cheese and potato chips, but for the most part, I try to keep the diet relatively healthy. And
yeah,
um, I don't know if I ate a lot more than I normally do. I must have, because
but nothing
ter-
stood out, and my wife's pretty
yeah.
good about like, you're eating a lot, and she never
And I
mentioned
didn't
it.
and I didn't weigh myself before or after, so I have no idea if I lost any weight. I imagine I did, not that I need to lose any, but I imagine I go through 100 miles. I probably lost a little bit of weight. Um, but I'm going to make sure to put it back on.
I was gonna say, whatever I've lost, morning beers kind of put it back on, don't they? But
That's right.
anyway,
Okay. All right.
so yeah,
Otherwise, I
yeah.
really have nothing else to say about the week.
So
Do you
future
have anything
goals,
else?
Andy. That's
What's
the
that?
only thing
Future.
prepared. Future goal. Ah, what?
All
What
right.
if? Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I have a couple more future goals for the year, right? The year of no racing.
Mm-hmm.
So one goal I have is to do a solo 50K. Did I
Mm-hmm.
talk to you about this?
Oh.
So I just want to go out and solo it. I have a trail that I love to run on. I'll do a loop that's going to be like a 6 or 7 mile loop. And then I'll just have all my water and nutrition at my car so I can do a loop, get back to my car, refill my water, grab my nutrition, and keep going. But that's probably not going to be until sometime in the fall, because it's going to be
Yeah.
July and August aren't great times to be out trying to do 50Ks around
Well,
here,
you ran a
especially
50K.
since
You ran a 50K a few years ago in Wisconsin, right? In the
I
summer.
did in the
Yeah.
summer. Yeah, and it was hot, it was humid. We got a huge storm that rolled through.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was an amazing race. I had so much fun, but
Right. Right.
I kind of want to do it in the middle of fall when the temperatures are cool and I can just feel like I can clip off the kilometers.
Right.
Because I'd actually, not only do I want to solo it, but I want to try to PR my 50K. So
Okay. So it's flat.
Mostly flat. There's some like rolling hills, but I'm not gonna hit huge climbs or anything like that. So
Yeah. Okay.
so I want to do that. I've also never done a track 5K, so that
Mm.
might be my summer thing, is to try to get ready to do a 5K
Right.
time trial on the track.
Right.
And then on top of that, when I was running last week, Friday, I was running with another buddy of mine. His name is Matt. He also wants to do a 5K time trial.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, we should do it together. He's like, yeah. I'll pace you for yours. You pace me for mine. Well, all right. This this is great, except Matt is way faster than me.
Oh yeah.
Like wait, so I said, what do you want to do, Matt? He's like, I'd like to go under 15:30, I think.
Man.
So we got to talking, and he was basically just saying, yeah, if you could pace me for 2 laps each mile.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I want to get myself in shape for, is to try to get in shape to do a 2:30-800, which I don't know if I can do.
I was gonna say that's not nothing. Yeah. Wow.
So basically, I'd pace him at 5-minute mile pace, and then I told him the last, lap or the last whatever half mile, he'd have to pick it up to go under 5:30. So that's another goal now. So
what's your goal?
So I just added that on. That's another goal, is to try to get in good enough shape that I can run a 2:30 half, give myself about 2.5 minutes rest, another 2:30 half.
Right.
And even if I can't hold the entire third session with them, I mean, just even give them another lap just to help pace them. So those are kind of my
but
3
more
goals.
importantly, what's your 5K goal?
I'd like to get under 18:30, because I haven't gone under 18:30 for years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't remember my fastest 5K. I think it was under 18. And I remember it involved Coors Light. So that's the Steve Lindsay can back me up on that wherever in Germany.
My
tip.
My 5K PR is 17:50 or 17:51.
Woo!
That was a long time ago.
Was someone chasing you? Was there anybody chasing you?
No.
No.
But it was on a relatively hilly course, so I actually think at the time I gone quicker. If I ever break 18 again, I would be super amazed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be really amazed if I ever went under 18 again. So that's why I'm like, if I could go under 18:30, I'd be really happy with that.
So that's your summer goal, and then that'll lead into a 50K in the fall.
Yeah, perfect. 5K track leading into a 50K. That's how they design training plans.
Right, and a fast 50K, right? Right. And then,
right.
so then what about 100 miler?
Well, we've talked about this. When it comes to 100 milers, I'm not going to do one unless I'm helping you do yours. Then I will, run, 80K with you or something.
Okay. So you mean virtually or like?
No, I mean, well, unless you're going to do your 100 miler in the next couple months where I'm like restricted to leave.
Right.
Then yeah, I'm actually going to come out and visit you, and for the sole purpose of helping you get to 100 miles.
So yeah, because that's what I'd like. That's kind of where this 100-mile week left me, was like, maybe I should be focusing a little less on the short, intense stuff and longer on sort of the less intense, longer runs, which I kind of like anyway. I sort of like that kind of discipline of getting out every morning and doing the kilometers regardless of how you feel.
Yeah, you're a grinder like that.
Yeah, I like that. It's odd how bodies seem to be, because like marathon is kind of where I start. I like the marathon distance. Anything shorter than that, and I really find it uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. Short races are uncomfortable. They're hard. They're uncomfortable.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my half marathon PB came only because I had been getting ready for my marathon PB. So, and I was like, oh, this is great. That's all. And
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, never again. That's it.
So the future goal for you is 100 miler.
Yeah, but I mean, and I say this every time, and maybe this is the point, is I keep saying it as long as my body holds up, I'll do it. But I think the point is I have to do it regardless of whether I feel like my body is holding up or not. Because I don't think anybody's body holds up to training for 100 miler. I think I think you and I have talked about this, years ago when we were running together, was, at some point your brain your brain seems to ignore injuries or can get you through injuries. It's like you're never sick when you're busy, and as soon as on a really busy time you feel fine, and then you finally get a week to just kind of relax after being really busy, and then you get a cold. Yeah. It's like, well, where did that come from? And I think it's kind of like that. You make the commitment to the 100 miler, you make the commitment to a 100-mile week, and your brain seems to lead your body and just says, you can't get injured, you can't get injured. And then you're done, and then you get injured.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? So I think at some point I'm just going to have to make the commitment, but that's my ultimate goal is to get that 100-miler and in the mountains, you know.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully the 100-mile a week was a good testing point that, you know, your body is ready to do, you know, that kind of volume.
Yeah, I think so. So, but the key is to keep the volume up on the road and then to switch it into the mountains where it's just, you know, it's totally different. So, yeah. So I think if I can keep it up during the summer, you know, not 100 miles, but, you know, maybe 100-kilometer weeks. And then when the heat subsides a bit, then I can get back at it in the mountains.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if you can keep 100-kilometer weeks through Daegu summer, you will be in rocking good shape for October in Korea.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, we've been really lucky.
I don't know what you're going to crush in your running in October, but if you keep up your training through the summer, whatever it is, you're going to crush it. So
right. And that sub 3-hour marathon is still just sitting there tingling me too, as I know it is for you too.
It's, you know, and the thing is, I just don't know when that next opportunity is going to be either. So
yeah,
I mean, I think, well, if I keep, I was like, well, if I do my high volume training through the summer and add my speed workouts, maybe I can solo a marathon or just have somebody like pace me for half of it and just try to hit that sub 3 unsanctioned. But
see, I'd rather do that. You know, I don't like doing I'd rather go by myself and do it and just come with it. And
it's all the same whether I mean, the only difference is somebody, you know, is going to put your name on an official list and they're going to give you a little finisher certificate with a time. What's the difference if you do it on your own?
Yeah, that's kind of been my thoughts.
Yeah.
But whatever. So those are my two goals. I think wherever we go from here, buddy, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's odd. It feels anticlimactic thinking the week's over. But when I look back to specific days, I definitely faced challenges and overcame them, and that was kind of the goal of the week. So if it is anticlimactic, it's just that I think I came out of this thinking I'm happy I did it. I'm happy I faced it. And I think more runners should probably do something like this to whatever extent. But you and I have been running for, you know, long enough that it wasn't it was a huge jump sort of from the previous week to this week. But I mean, we've been doing ultras and marathons and distance running for, you know, over I'm like 13 years, you're like 20. So
yep.
Long enough that it wasn't like, whoa, you know, it wasn't whatever woo means, but
I'll try to add a definition of woo below. That's what I say when I drink my beer.
Wu-Tang Clan.
Woo.
Woo. I'm drinking beer at 10 o'clock in the morning, man.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, and you know, hopefully not only what we took out of it, but hopefully what other people might take out of it, whoever might watch it, is that go for a challenge. Give yourself a challenge. Go for it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100 miles. It could be something else. Doesn't matter what it is, but find your challenge and go for it and just, you know, give it your best shot. So.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. I miss the running community. I miss being around you. These days, it's really just me logging a lot of miles. Sometimes I meet up with the few people you know in Daegu, but it's pretty few and far between. And I miss the community part of it, man. It's pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, I do too, and that's part of what's been strange this year too. Is, you know, a lot of solo stuff, and that's one thing I liked about races too. Is it's not just about racing. It's, you know, I'd show up to races and I would see people that I know, and it's like, you know, maybe don't run with them, but you know them, and hey, how you doing? It's great to see you, stuff like that, right? And you know, there just isn't any of that this year. It's you know,
Weird.
I've never had a problem running alone. It's
right.
I know some people really need others to, and that's totally cool. Like for me, running is something I've always enjoyed, and I've just been able to get out and do it. But I do have more fun when I am running with other people. Like when I'm out running with you, you know, those are some of my fondest running memories of, you know, being in the mountains with you, going to Biselsan, doing Munyang loops, you know,
I was,
going out and doing the North Face 50K. I know it wasn't a great experience for you, but just Gojay, like Gojay is one of my all-time best running memories. Is doing that 70K. Last climb of the day, and it's this rock scramble.
Last climb, my man.
And last major climb.
That is not the last time. I didn't know you were videoing. Huh.
Doing good. We're at like 62K or something like that. Really rocking it, you know? Going well. This is a tough course. I mean, the last 2 climbs here have been just absolutely brutal.
3 kilometers an hour.
Yeah. But, you know, when we do get to the top of the mountains, I mean, this is what we got. And we're going up there somewhere. There goes Rob. And I just remember like getting up to that last peak, and there's that guy sitting there, and you just took a shot of whiskey with him, and we kept on going. Like
that was horrible.
That's etched into my mind. I'll never forget.
Rob is doing a shot of whiskey at the top of the last mountain, 5K downhill. Let's see how he makes it. How was it?
Well, my man.
How was it? How was it?
It tastes like shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't remember anything after that shot of whiskey. Yeah.
I could have done one too then, because I remember the pain. I remember
the burn. Man, I just remember because we had been running for what, like 12 hours at that point, and it was hot and on the top of like a 600-meter climb. I mean, it was legit. And he was there, and whatever for whatever reason, I didn't say no. But I remember like feeling. It felt like the alcohol was, you know, kind of making the cells in my fingers dance. Like I just remember going, "Oh my God!" Like it was, yeah. But it burned a lot. And remember, he had that like dehydrated milk tablet or something. He's like, "That's your chaser."
Yeah. Did you do that?
No, I think I just had more tailwind.
Yeah. It's also a good chaser.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, no, I agree, man. So many awesome memories, dude. Pretty fortunate. Pretty lucky. And this is another one. It's cool to do it virtually. It was great that we were able to.
This was a lot of fun. So
yeah,
I really enjoyed kind of waking. I mean, it was weird. One of the first things I'd do, I'd wake up in the morning. I would see, okay, what did Rob do today for his run?
Yeah.
How's he doing on the challenge? And I thought about you like a couple of times. I was like, man, I hope Rob's getting through it okay. I hope everything's going okay. I don't want him to get injured or anything. This is my idea, man. I hope he doesn't get it. Like I thought about that. I'm like, oh man, don't get injured.
Right. Yeah, same. When you said your hamstring was tight, I was like, oh no, like
yeah.
Because I think we both, as much as we kind of came out of this confident, we both probably would be willing to acknowledge random injuries seem to happen when you're doing running, and it almost isn't a testament to your training or your fitness. Or I mean, I know a lot of people say that, and I think probably it's true, but when you're doing that much running, you turn an ankle on a rock, you sleep on your back weird or something.
Yep.
These things happen. And when you're trying to do that many kilometers in only 7 days, you don't get a day to kind of say, oh, I was injured that day, I'll make it up tomorrow. You couldn't, or it'd be that much harder. So yeah, I think we both certainly I feel pretty fortunate to have come out of it.
Yeah, I do too. I feel fortunate that we both got it done, and that we both feel good. Yeah, and that we're both not sick of running afterwards. We both we both kind of want to do more.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I thought I would be too. I don't feel that at all. Yeah.
All
Cool,
right.
buddy.
Nice. Got
Awesome.
anything else to say, Rob? Anything?
Nope. Thanks again for the challenge, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome, and thank you for joining me. It was a great experience. I had a lot of fun with this virtual 100-mile a week with you, so that was really cool. And then to anybody watching on the YouTube, thank you so much for watching the series. Make Rob a big star in something. I don't know.
No, I think I'm probably allergic to celebrity. Not that it's ever been thrust on me. I don't need that in my life. Leave me alone. No, thanks for. I mean, really, the only reason why we're recording this is, hopefully somebody else looks at it and goes, "Cool, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try something."
Exactly.
Different.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's even listening now. So
no,
whatever.
No, my parents won't even watch this far.
No, yeah. My mom asked for the link the other day, and I said no, and she didn't ask me again. She was like, "Okay, cool. I did what I was supposed to do."
That's awesome.
All right, buddy. Well,
All right, Rob.
congrats, man. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
Sounds good, brother.
All right. Bye.
Later.